UPS, 68,000 people laid off. Nestle, 16,000 people laid off. Amazon, 14,000 people laid off. And Dell, 12,000 people laid off. This is not even half of the list of the major layoffs that's been happening in 2025. This is all 2025. The writing is on the wall. Now that you see it, what you gonna do about it? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dre over here at Set Apart Gardens, man, where we teaching people how to get back to the land and become as self-sufficient as possible. Man, I wanted to come today because in the year 2025 alone, all those companies that I just named have laid off all those people. And that's not even half of the layoffs. You know, there's more major companies that's laid people off, but those are some of the more significant ones. And a lot of people are being replaced by AI. You know, a lot of people are being laid off because profits and different things like that. And so we see what's happening. We see the writing on the wall. I really ask myself the question, what am I going to do about it? But most importantly, what are people going to do about it now that they see this going on? Now that they see just how easy and expendable they are. Just how easy they are to just be let go and how expendable they are, you know, when these corporations decide that they want to cut their workforce. See, this is the thing about it. You know, a lot of people may think, oh, well, you know, it must have been a specific reason, or those specific, you know, industries needed to cut those workers. But no, this is the thing. That's not just that industry. This is across all different industries, you know, as far as in the workforce. And what we need to understand right now is that the system is changing. The system is changing. The job market is changing. The economy is changing. The goal is to cut as many jobs as they can so they can replace people with AI, or so they can do more with you know, as few workers as possible. And so your livelihood, it's not even a factor in the decision of what's being made, you know, to cut these different jobs. The bottom line is this: the economy and the job market, or the workforce as we know it, is fading away. It is becoming something that's unrecognizable. It's not the same as it used to be, where you get you a good, you know, secure job, you go to work, you earn a good, decent living, you get your 401k, and you get your pension when you retire, and you just live happily ever after, the American dream. That is going away. And I'm not saying, look, I'm not here teaching, you know, just this extreme message as far as, oh man, you know, everything is bad. No, but what I'm saying is that we see a trend happening and we see changes coming. And so now that we see that the job market is changing, we see that the economy is changing, we see that something new is on the horizon, it is time to be proactive. So not only can we survive in the future, but we can also thrive in the future. And if we're going to survive in the future and thrive in the future, right now we need to make a mental shift. We need to shift our mindset and start to renew our mindset into getting out of this illusion of job security, getting out of this illusion of just security in general, instability in general, from anything that any external source is going to bring you. One thing that we know now is that a job is not going to bring you the stability that it once has. You see what I'm saying? And look, you may have some jobs that are the exception to the rule, but I'm talking about widespread. You know, we thought government jobs were safe. We thought, you know, jobs in these large corporations were safe and provided stability because they paid you well and they had good benefits. But as a federal worker, or as a former federal worker, I can tell you and assure you that that day is gone. That is no longer. So we have to shift our mindset from this illusion of security and this illusion of stability, and start to see how we can provide what the job once provided us, how we can diversify our income, how we can become self-sufficient, how we can start growing our own food, how we can start keeping livestock, how we can start having skills that are timeless, that we can always be able to provide for ourselves and our family with the skills that we have. This is another thing. A job should be viewed just like anything else that provides you income. A job should just be looked at as a vehicle that provides you income, that gets you to a place where you want to be, as far as self-sufficiency, as far as stability, you know, as far as making your own way so you can start diversifying your income. A job should just be the vehicle. The job should not be the end-all be-all. I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket. No, the job should be, okay, I'm going to use this as a step up. I'm going to use this as leverage. The income that I get from this, I'm going to invest in something that's really going to keep me stable and keep me grounded and continue to provide me income, right? So for instance, what that looks like, I'm going to use the opportunity and the income from this job so I can start learning a trade, or so I can start learning this skill right here that's going to pay me in the future, that I can do, you know, for my own self, that I can fund my business, that this idea that I've had for a long time, I can use my job to fund this business and to get it off the ground. So that way, once my business is able to replace my job income, I can go fully into this business, or I can start, you know, going fully into this investment, whatever it is, however you want to earn your income. I mean, you got a lot of different ways to cut it and slice it, but what I'm saying is ultimately the job should just be looked at as a vehicle and not the end all be all. So now that we see just how fragile the economy has been, just how fragile the job market is becoming, now is the time to start learning timeless skills. Now is the time to start learning what we should and shouldn't be doing. And so I'm going to talk about some of these skills that we should be learning and the mindset that we should have going forward. So here are some tips to not only survive in the future, but to thrive. First things first, learn how to grow some food. I mean, I say this all the time, and I'm going to continue to beat this dead horse until, you know, enough people start doing it. But learn how to grow your own food at the basic level. Learn how to plant some seeds in the ground. Learn how to grow some vegetables. Again, you don't have to have a lot of space. You just have to know how to optimize your space. You can plant in, like I said, you can plant in 5-gallon buckets. You can, you know, plant in raised beds and towers and different things like that. You can just have those little grow pots, you know, but learn how to at least start growing some food, start collecting seeds. Learn how to keep some sort of livestock. That's another thing, whether it be chickens. It don't got to be, oh, I'm gonna go and get cattle or goats or whatever. No, you can start with chickens. You can start with quail. Even if, you know, let's say chickens are too big, you don't want to start with chickens, and you want something that a little bit more quiet, you can start with quail. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who eat rabbit, you can learn how to keep rabbit. So it's like, but learn how to start keeping some sort of livestock right now. Another thing is this: learn trades. Learn carpentry if you can. Learn some type of plumbing if you can. Learn brick masonry if you can. Like some sort of trade that you can work with your hand and make money. Learn that right now. Learn how to hunt. Learn how to hunt, especially if you are a meat eater. Now, if you're a vegan, I mean, you could just stick with the gardening. But I'm just trying to give practical tips and advice for everybody. So if you're a meat eater, learn how to start trying to hunt. You know, learn how to use a weapon or hunting rifle, right? Another thing is this: learn how to fish. You know, learn how to, you know, go get you a fishing pole and start fishing and catching your own fish and harvesting your own fish and cooking your own fish. That is another thing. Now, when it comes to actually diversifying your income and replacing that job income, these are some of the things you can also do. One thing that's big right now is content creation. Picking up a camera, recording some content. You don't even have to record content on the video. You can write content. You can make blog posts. There's a lot of different ways to make money online right now via content. It don't necessarily have to be you recording yourself, but I'm just saying, just explore what options work best for you and kind of, you know what I'm saying, go with that. But making content, that's the way to supplement and replace your job income. Another thing is this: freelance work. Start, you know, there are many different apps, Fiverr, Freelancer. There are many different apps where you can go on and start doing freelance work. If you're good with certain things on the computer, like graphic design, video editing, you know, different things like that, you can do freelance work and start supplementing and replacing your job income like that. Another thing is this: selling products that add value, you know, like whether it be handmade things that you can craft up. Let's say buy products from your farm, whether it's eggs, whether it's dairy, you know, those type of products that add value to people. Food, you know, if you're a good cook or if you're a baker, you can bake bread, you can bake all type of little pastries and stuff like that. Sell them at farmers markets and stuff, but you can sell products that add value to people. Another thing is this: digital products. You can sell digital products right now. If you have an expertise in a certain field and you feel like, you know, you could teach it to people via online and it will be valuable to them, you can make digital products and digital courses and sell those online. Another thing is this: I mean, you could start investing in precious metals like gold and silver, right? You could also invest in the stock market if that's your thing. But it's just about diversifying your income and thinking, okay, how can I, because this is the thing, right? You want to have multiple different streams of income, and however that looks for you is how it looks for you. But what I'm saying right now is the time to start developing and investing in those, you know, income streams, so they can be able to replace that job or that career that you have been putting all your eggs in that basket. Because again, you never know. Just because the layoffs didn't affect you this year, you just never know what the future holds. Because we always think, oh man, well, I'm secure in my job. But as many people have saw this year, that is not the case. So definitely start looking into diversifying your income, but as well as learning survival skills. In addition to diversifying your income, you want to learn those survival skills that I talked about: growing your own food, hunting, fishing, keeping livestock, all of that type of stuff. You know, you want to learn those things too, just in case. Like I said, you want to have a backup plan for a backup plan, just in case, let's say, the economy collapses. And I'm not really saying that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that you got to think, what if? What if the economy collapses? How will I survive then? A lot of these different things that I was doing, it won't mean nothing if the shelves at the grocery store are empty. It won't mean nothing if the dollar is worthless. But at least if I know how to hunt my own food, fish, forage, garden, keep livestock, I'll know how to eat, survive. You see what I'm saying? If I know how to harvest and collect rainwater, if I know how to filter water, you know, from a fresh water source, I'll know how to survive. If I know how to build basic shelter to keep me warm or keep me cool, I will know how to survive in that time, just in case the dollar means nothing. So you have to have a backup plan for a backup plan. This is another suggestion I have. Start networking right now and finding communities of people that you could become a part of, a community where you can help and where you can be helped. Now, for instance, if you have the mindset of self-sufficiency and you want to be a homesteader and you want to become self-sufficient, there are many different Facebook groups where you can join: farming groups, homesteading groups, off-grid groups. I have a free Facebook group. It's called Set Apart Tribe Tier 1. I'll leave a link in the description. But you know, that group is a community where you can network in and you can add value, or you can get value added to you. But start searching for those different communities, and they don't got to be on Facebook, but that's just a suggestion. That's just where I feel like a lot of value is added in a lot of these Facebook groups. But you know, you have different people who have their own communities and stuff like that. But just look into what suits you and what fits you, you know, for your goals. But definitely start networking, becoming a part of a community where you can learn from people and where people can learn from you, and you can network and you can trade and you can barter and you can add value and you can have value added to you. And the last thing is this: these major layoffs we see happening right now, they're not just losses, they're not just layoffs, they are lessons. They are lessons for everybody who's paying attention and looking at what's going on, so they can learn from what's going on with other people and being laid off, and also the people who have been laid off. This is a lesson to learn. What can I do differently in the future to not be so dependent, to not be affected just in case layoffs happen again? Because yes, you can be laid off from this job, go get another job, but guess what? You don't know if that job is going to try to lay you off as well. So that's why it's important to try to learn some timely skills, to try to start developing your own source of income and your own source of self-sufficiency, so you can be able to survive regardless of if layoffs are happening. You know, if there's economic downturn, inflation, recession, depression, it won't matter to you, because you have skills that not only pay the bills, but you have skills that keep you you know, in a place to where not only you're surviving but you're thriving, right? So let's look at these layoffs as lessons, and let's start to see what can we do different in the future. And let's start doing that. Let's start being proactive right now. You see the writing on the wall. So it's time to be proactive. It's time to take heed. Don't just see the writing on the wall and try to ignore it. Because sure enough, as the writing is on the wall, the things that you have feared most are happening. So we see the writing on the wall. Let's be proactive, man. Like I always say, he who has the power to feed you also has the power to starve you. See y'all on the next one.
Bombs over Baghdad really ain't that bad. Little wiretap, yes, yes. Little dodge in the IRS. Little haven from the tax man.